Billie's new album, Happier Than Ever, is finally here, and it is getting a lot of hype. But with a lot of hype also comes a lot of hate. I wanted to figure out whether this album is overrated or whether it's an absolute smash. But for starters, this album is already featuring on the Billboard top charts. But while she's sitting on top of the charts right now, album sales really just equate to you having a really dedicated fan base. It doesn't show us how good the album really is, especially this early on. So while Billie has a lot of fans riding for her, I wanted to see if this album is a hit or whether it's What I did like about this album is the many themes which it explores, but mainly this album is us sitting in on these deep therapeutic conversations that Billie is having with people in her life that have caused her pain. Whether this is the media, ex-lovers, friends and family, which is exactly what I love about music. I want vulnerability. I want to hear the human parts of the artist. I love how this album speaks to women and also speaks to men in a very constructive way. She's not telling us what to do, but rather telling her truth, and her truth is that when she was underage, people weren't able to sexualize her, so instead they body shamed her. And then you had these tabloids who were waiting and counting the days until she turned 18 so they could sexualize her body for clicks and engagement. She also spoke about what it's like to be in the music industry as a woman, what it's like to be portrayed by the media as a young woman. And I think that in a lot of these songs, she's talking to young women, and I think that's so powerful because so many of her fans are young women. Despite some of these amazing themes that occur through the album, this album isn't without its flaws. I personally think this album is filled with incredible songs, but sometimes the songs seemed a little bit hollow and lacked substance. But in some of these songs where I feel like her vocals and her lyricism may have lacked substance, I found Finneas really stepped up as a producer and the production came in and really saved the song. I mean, don't get me wrong, the album is great, but it's not without its flaws. Billie's still young, which means that she has a long time before she really develops as a lyricist. Does this mean that the album is bad? No, it just means that Billie's a normal 19-year-old lyricist who has flaws. I mean, don't we all have flaws? Isn't that why we listen to Billie's music? I thought the real star of this album was Finneas and the way that he produced it. Coming into this review, I was told to be nice to the Billie Eilish fans because they would send me a swarm of hate, but in my opinion, I'd much rather be honest with all of you than to just be nice in order to get likes and subscribers. To believe that an album is completely flawless would be in itself flawed. I mean, all of these albums that I have hung up on my wall right here have flaws. And to me, when I listen to something, I listen for those imperfections. And that's what I like about this album. First off, the run from Oxytocin to Halley's Comet is absolutely incredible. Not to mention, Happier Than Ever, in my personal opinion, is the best title track that I've heard from any album this year. And in this album, there's no attempt at a radio hit. And I have to give respect to an artist who gives respect to music. And this album isn't about the business of music. It's about the music. And in a very competitive year for Album of the Year, I honestly think that this album is in contention for Album of the Year. And I think for all of us who have listened to this album from start to end, we can all agree that when we hear the words, "You made me hate this city," this sudden, raw ferocity from Billie Eilish just blew me away and blew away everybody. I mean, it's truly the talk of the album. And I think that's what this album did so well, is it showcased more Finneas than Billie. But as much criticism and as much praise I do have for this album, anytime someone tells me, "You made me hate this city," I'm immediately gonna want to jam the hell out. But overall, for this album, if I had to give this album a score out of 10, I would give this album an 8.1. But anyways, if you all enjoyed this album review, please make sure to like, subscribe, tell me what you thought of the album in the comments below. You can also talk to me about the album on Twitter and Instagram. If you haven't checked out my other videos, please make sure to check them out right here. I will see you all next time. Peace out.